Good day, and welcome back to the British Royal Family channel. We're diving into a political scandal that proves the old adage, never mix dinner, drinks and dishonest politicians. Forget the grand declarations in the House of Commons. The real savage truth about Rachel Reeves has been laid bare, not under the scrutiny of the Treasury Committee, but across a dinner table where she was brutally called out for her outright lies and purportedly misleading a key sector of the economy. This sensational story comes straight from campaigner and publican Adam Brooks, a writer and commentator who did not mince his words on the Daily Espresso podcast, declaring with magnificent bluntness, Reeves is a liar. The context is everything. Brooks recalled attending a dinner approximately 3 years ago with Ms. Reeves, Angela Rayner and others, at a time when he and the industry knew the Conservatives were done and Labour was inevitably going to come in power. The Shadow Chancellor and her colleague, Brooks alleges, basically sat across the table promising the world to the hospitality sector, showering them with compliments like, "We love hospitality," and Reeves herself claiming that she believed pubs were the heartbeat of community, all while promising that Labour will be different from the previous government. Fast forward to the present day, and the reality is a cruel joke, according to the veteran landlord. Brooks states unequivocally that since Labour took office, they've been 10 times worse, leading him to the entirely rational conclusion, "So how can I believe a thing any politician really says?" This anecdote is more than just a publican's gripe, it's a devastating personal account of political betrayal, providing a micro-level example of the integrity crisis that has plagued the government since day one. Brooks's personal conviction that the entire political establishment is rotten runs so deep that his support has now shifted to reform, simply because he is desperately seeking genuine change. He backs reform's immigration policies and their radical proposals for cutting taxes and supporting businesses, arguing, "We need to be radical, and the Uni Party are not going to do that." This highlights a massive problem for Rachel Reeves. Not only is she hemorrhaging support from the moderate centre, but her policy failures are actively pushing key business figures, the very people she promised to champion, toward political rivals. Brooks's own internal monologue, the wrestling with whether he could even last in politics because he's the type of person who would say "F you sod that" if forced to support a dishonest policy, is a stinging indictment of the entire Westminster machine, confirming that the very people who should be entering politics are being repelled by its current state of corruption and mendacity. He adds that governments whose fundamental role is to represent, protect and serve the public are now controlling us and going against us, suggesting something is fundamentally wrong in this country with politics. Now, to defend herself against the rising tide of business scorn, the Chancellor did use her budget to promise permanently lower business rates for more than 750,000 retail, hospitality and leisure properties, the very sector Brooks represents, claiming these would be the lowest rates since 1991. However, the financial mechanism for this supposed relief, higher rates on properties worth more than £500,000, including the warehouses used by online giants, is seen by many in the industry as smoke and mirrors. They argue that the promise of lower rates is entirely negated by the overall increase in rateable values and the removal of previous support schemes, meaning the net effect is a significant tax rise for small pubs and hotels, a brutal contradiction to the dinner table promise of a heartbeat of the community. Brooks's raw testimony rips the plaster off the wound, exposing the hollow core of Labour's promises to the hospitality sector and validating the widespread feeling that Rachel Reeves, like so many others in her cabinet, says one thing in private when seeking power and does the complete opposite once she holds the purse strings, leaving her facing a growing rebellion of betrayed business owners who are now actively seeking radical change elsewhere. The simple truth is, you can't storm out of a dinner and then expect the same people to trust you to run the country. Thank you so much for watching.